Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the UK's only Transformers TCG podcast, the TCG Cityspeakers. As always, I am your host Kev, and with me are my fabulous co-hosts.
I'm Matt.
And I am El Skarscream.
Excellent. We have just finished up a busy weekend of Transformers action. I don't know about you guys, but I am knackered after a good 7-8 games over 2 days.
More than that with the games of before and after, right?
Oh yeah, we did a lot, didn't we?
Yeah,
Whew.
and all the testing in between on Saturday night that I'm sure we all did.
Oh yeah, lots of reps.
Yeah.
So yes,
I'm sure we all did.
We definitely did. But yes, on Saturday just gone, it was Brighton's first Wave 3 constructed event. And we followed that up on Sunday with Southampton's first Wave 3 construct event. So Matt, as the TO for Brighton's event, how did you find the day?
It was really good. We had it, so it was the first time we were able to use Siege. It was the first time for sideboards, and it was the first that we could award the gold foil promo characters. They're super shiny and really look really lovely.
Yeah, they look better in person than I thought they looked in pictures.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely agreed. They are fantastic.
Brighton was really nice. It was mostly filled with our local crowd. We had one extra, which was none other than Kev, who is with us on the cast.
Yep.
And what was really nice to see was that every deck that was brought on Saturday was different. So I mean, we had Kevin brought his living weapon with dual battle masters. Mark had King Starscream. We had an Alita 1. We had a Grimlock Lionizer deck. We had Major Shockwave. I press ganged our local Joe into playing with the deck and to make up numbers, and he used my Menasor deck for the day and did really well. I might add.
He did.
And then I had General Prime and company. Yeah, it was a really cool day. I think so. What matches did you have over the day, Kevin?
Yeah, I've got my little tournament report written up. Yeah, as you said, I took my Megatron Musashi deck, the old dual-wielding living weapon. I'd been, as I said on the last cast, it was something that I was looking to build, and I've been repping with it over the last few weeks since the release of Wave 3. It's like the theory behind it is sound, and it was doing okay in testing. It clearly had a weakness against big aggro damage and big heavy hitting guys, so I made sure to get those force fields in, make room for those, and make sure, because if Megatron dies, the deck just falls over.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no bones about it. He literally is the thing the deck is built around.
He's the centerpiece, right? So
yeah. So if he goes down, you're like, well, I've got
a Battle Master on a Battle Master. Cool.
I've got an aimless and a blowpipe. One might be wielding the other. Who knows?
Yeah.
That's right. That's what Callous Leadership's for.
Yeah, that's right. And my initial build that I took on Saturday was very much, I was thinking, hey, I'm running blowpipe. Let's try and, make the most of his ability. Get the most value I can out of him. So my deck build was it was blue heavy, but I was running 9 black pips, 6 greens, 9 whites, and 6 oranges. And I was making sure that I could double up when needed. So I was running essentially, I was running the 6 orange black pips and the 6 blue black pips.
Okay.
Which, if you guys haven't noticed, are all rubbish.
Yep.
Uh,
Very
you,
much.
they are junk. I was not playing them for their abilities in any way.
Yeah,
They
sure.
were just in the deck to, hey, the other two guys, if they don't have us on them, they need to do a little bit of damage. They need to pull their weight a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
And that was helpful. I got 1 or 2 damage through, but so yes, it was certainly relevant in my first matchup yesterday on Saturday. It was against Menasor, which was Matt's deck, piloted by, I say, your random local.
Randomly.
Joe. Yeah, he's one of our regulars. Yeah, he's
Regular.
one of the new guys. Yeah,
And-
he's a regular guy now.
And he commented that he was used to playing orange, so playing a blue deck was a bit of a different experience for him. And I hadn't played against Menasor because no one else plays him.
Yeah, pretty
No
much.
one's that crazy to build a Menasor deck. Who would do that?
So we played a game, and first game he combined on turn 5. But I was
Good.
able to. Yeah, it was good. It was scary, but I was able to just get him down slowly. The random pierce from the black pips and like the laser cutlasses were doing work. And then once Megatron was able to come and hit him, I could just be like, well, yeah, but I'm hitting consistently for big numbers. That was fine. I did some sideboarding. I put in an espionage just to try and hit that first Enigma. But unfortunately for me, in the second game, he was able to play security checkpoint to wipe out 2 tough padding.
My least favorite card in the world.
It was bad. I'm like, yep, that is going to definitely cost me. Without those, I wasn't able to Megatron to withstand the hits, and he just slowly went down.
Brutal.
Even stopping the first Enigma just wasn't enough. Like without protection, Megs just fell over. Third game went to time, and I was ahead on the board when time was. Which unfortunately, it was that was for the first round.
Yeah, no, I do remember the.
And so, yes. Now, in hindsight, that result should be different because the end of tournament procedures have changed.
Yes, and not really for the better, unfortunately.
And they're not great. So I think in hindsight, I probably would have conceded. I think the third game there, knowing what the end of time procedures are now, because draws suck, and I think I'd just rather have a better strength of schedule. I guess I think that's relevant in this game anyway. Won that game. Going into round 2, I was against Major Shockwave, Aimless, and Detour. So Shockwave, not played against him before. I've seen people play him, and I've watched some content with him. Shout out to Wreck and Rule, you guys are awesome. But I severely underrated the hand disruption for him. The ability to not only draw cards, which is always great, but at the same time, just slowly pick away your opponent's options. That is scary. And they were very close games. They could have gone either way. His hand control was great. I was top decking quite a lot. I was fortunate to maybe see a pep talk here and there when I was drawing dead to try and get some answers. And I learned very quickly the laser cutlasses and the black pips were not enough when Shockwave's standing there with like 3 armor and all the health in the world. You're like, yeah, apparently my little battle masters, they're not dying fast in this game, and they're not pulling their weight at all.
They're not doing what they're supposed to do, damn it!
Definitely not.
17 is a big number to crack.
It is, and when you don't see a callous leadership to kill them,
sure,
and put them on Megs and heal 5 from him, it's bad. And I believe in the third game, he got the double weapon online with shock. And I think I was only running 2 Vaporize at the time. And I'm like,
okay.
I don't, this doesn't have a way to deal with big guys with big sticks. That's a problem.
7 plus 2 of those is
is a lot.
11 is a lot. Yeah,
it's bad times. So that was a lesson learned. I was like, right, that cannot deal with that. The sideboard didn't really help in that at all. Third game, I went 0-2 versus a Grimlock Swoop Lionizer list. Oh boy!
Oh, dreaded Lionizer.
This guy, this Lionizer character, man. Did we overrate him? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
So, first game, I lose the dice roll. That's always a good start. He goes first, swings with Lionizer, does a couple of damage. I go, do nothing of importance, swing with a guy, yay. On turn 2, he plays Ready for Battle to stand Lionizer.
Oh, Ready for Action.
Ready for Action, sorry, yep.
Yeah.
To stand Lionizer and swing with him again, which means I would have to go for him again on my attack target. Does some more damage. I'm like, okay, alright.
That's not ideal.
On my turn, I think maybe I do my standard flip down Megatron, pick up a Cutlass, put the Cutlass on the other Battlemaster and go in.
Yep.
Not doing a whole lot there. But on his third turn, there is a Peace Through Tyranny.
Yeah.
And that would be all she wrote.
Yikes.
there is not much that I could do. I think he was able to kill both Battlemasters and cripple Megs. And even Megs coming in with a big attack was not going to do anything. So I'm like, okay, that was a fast game. Let me just sideboard all these anti-aggro cards that I have in here. Yep. I had 2 Espionage, 3 Energized Fields, because I thought that was a good card. And an Espionage, I think they all went in.
Right.
Because I'm like, well, I have to see an answer to something. I made him go first on the thought process, thinking, well, if he's got Peace Through Tyranny on 3, I'm going to have an answer on 2. I have to see the Espionage or the Infiltrate on 2. Otherwise, I'm just dead.
Yeah.
Lucky for me, I see an Espionage. All right, great. So turn 2.
Plan. Step 1 complete.
Yeah.
Step 1 complete. Step 2 is play the Espionage on my first turn and name Orange. It's going well so far.
Oh no! What could go wrong?
What could go wrong indeed is when he reveals the Peace Through Tyranny. We're like, yes, excellent, and then reveals another Peace Through Tyranny.
Oh no!
And I'm like, oh dear.
Yikes!
What do you do?
Yeah.
I'm like, well, so much for that plan. It was a good plan. It hasn't worked out too well. So he had a confidence in there. I was like, well, I'll take the card draw because, more options for you is, earlier death for me. Yeah. And I believe it was Peace Through Tyranny on his second turn to kill Lionizer, slap Lionizer on Grimlock, come into my Battlemaster, and overkill with 13 going on some Megs.
Yeah.
Now, when your 14 health main character has taken 13 of that before he's even done anything, things have gone badly wrong. It turns out that there's not much game the deck has against that.
No.
And so I went 1-2 on the day and quickly went, well, I know what I should be doing and I know what's not working. So myself and Matt sat down at that point and all of those, cheeky orange, black and blue, black cards
take
don't
all of those
do
out.
anything. We were like, well, those are all rubbish. Maybe I should.
Are they rubbish? Just take them out.
Maybe I shouldn't run, 9 to 12 dead cards.
Yeah.
So even like, and it was like in theory, making your blowpipe attack pretty big.
No, yeah,
Not
there was
but
definitely thought behind it. It wasn't they were just randomly chucked in. There was a reason for
yeah,
it.
there was a reason for it, but it turns out that just running better cards
Yeah.
to make
It's
sure
just
that makes
better.
Yeah, it's
is
just
just
better.
to make sure that makes
It keeps
them
you way more consistent.
yeah. So we made some very very key changes after the tournament. To judging from what I'd learned it needed a way to deal with big weapons. It needed a way to deal with Megs dying so quickly. So we put in some spicy tech. We put in hunker downs to recur armor. Even if you're just recurring a force field, aggressive decks, it means they have to do multiple attacks. Hopefully, we put in some. Yeah, there's the spice. I put in a couple of bigger they are just to help those little guys do
The
something.
little guys, yeah.
And some security consoles for the extra card draw because I found that the pep talks and the battlefield reports weren't enough.
Okay.
I was able to remove not only the orange and blue blacks, but also the spare parts, which had done work on the day.
Yeah, I can see that.
But the security check, the security consoles,
Yeah, the
is
console.
probably just better in that slot.
Yeah, and I mean, like if you're worried about losing your battle masters, should they get vaporized or whatever, then your security consoles are now hopefully drawing you into your quartermasters, which just allow you to replace it. So it was, I don't know, it just felt like it was. You were already running quartermasters anyway.
Yeah.
So you've just got a better chance of drawing into them.
Yep.
Yep. And the other thing I learned was obviously it needed a way to deal with heavy bowls, not just with force field, but to just try and mitigate damage. So the sideboard changed a bit. I think I chucked out a dampening field. I added an infiltrate. I removed bad attitudes for gyro blast. Gyro blasters doing a lot of work because meaning that we only flip 2 cards each when I'm defending with my key character.
Yep.
A lot better to keep him alive.
Yeah, sure.
So those were the changes that I made after scrubbing out horrendously on day 1.
Right.
And Matt and I were able to go over that. But I believe that you guys had a better day on Saturday.
Well, Matt did. I don't know about me. Do you want me to go first, or do you want Matt to go first? No, I'll go first. We'll let Matt finish up day 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, going into Saturday, I wasn't like amazingly confident, but I'd been playing King Starscream a lot in the Wednesdays when we meet up in the shop, and when we do recording at mine, like we do casuals before we record and stuff. And I've been playing it a lot, and I was pretty confident that I knew what I wanted to do with the deck. I knew like what sequencing I should be doing and stuff like that. So yeah, I went in with King Starscream. My support team is Skydive and Fireflight, which is different to I think most people. And Flame War is my sideboard character. You usually just swap in Flame War for Fireflight, depending on the matchup. So in the first round, I played Matt. So Matt was running his General Prime, Red Alert, and Prowl list. And yeah, game 1, I think you got really unlucky in your flips, and I just completely steamrolled you, right?
Yeah, so I wasn't really able to do much in that first game.
But then you
Starscream did what Starscream did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I was able to.
You flipped really poor. You got really bad luck on your flips, I remember. And
that's very possible.
But then the sideboard changed everything. So
sideboard was huge.
Yeah, I'll let you explain what you do with your sideboard.
Sure. So against a heavy blue deck, it made sense for me to switch out the 2 smaller characters. So in this case, Private Red Alert and Sentinel Prowl. Remove him and bring in Ultra Magnus.
Big boy Magnus.
Big boy Magnus with a single armor.
Yeah.
And that's like the bare minimum that I'm doing in the sideboard.
Sure.
In this particular game, I think I might have subbed in a second enforcement battens and a second press the advantage.
Okay.
But like, yeah, that was that. Magnus, he opens up like with his armor and I'd already lost that game, so I'm going first in this game.
Yeah.
And he opens up at 8 before flips.
Yeah.
General Prime in alt mode allows him to get bold 1. Magnus is my first flip for the turn,
Yep.
so I get to flip at least 3 cards, and there's a high chance that I'm flipping 2 of each color to proc his ability.
Yeah.
And then that's extra damage on the smaller guys that I now don't have to deal with later.
Yeah, definitely.
And think in this game
It was the complete
it
opposite of game
doesn't-
1. You in game 2.
Yeah, it was complete opposite. Like I was completely able to take control of the game. But I think even in this game, I wasn't able to one-shot Fireflight. Which
I
is-
can't remember. That's not in my notes whether you did or
Yeah.
not. But
Oh, okay, yeah, I can't remember. But like it was. I think it was a shame that I didn't.
Yeah.
But it was still able to pull through. But that is the ultimate goal in
Yeah.
that sort of situation, is to take out certainly Fireflight. I mean, you have to because it's brave. But
yeah.
it's you get rid of him, that really shuts down that 2-piece character combo that you've got going on.
Yeah.
And any smaller character would spend 2 or 3 attacks trying to deal with.
Yeah, definitely.
And if I can do it in 1, then that's half the game.
Yep.
That's half the fight done.
Yeah. So game 2 was the complete opposite. I steamrolled you in game 1, you sideboarded, and then you steamrolled me in game 2. And then game 3 was a really close one. It came down to like our big characters, basically. It was Starscream versus Prime.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it was
You finished off
basically
Magnus.
it was the last swing, right? Because I can't remember if I would have killed you on the swing back, but it was just Prime versus Starscream, and yeah, Prime ended up taking it. In
And
true,
I think a press the advantage was the
what you mean?
the clincher.
You mean the unfair card? Yeah, that one.
The unfair advantage versus Starscream card.
Press the unfair advantage against Decepticons. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that card's just busted in that matchup, right? It's just like +4. So
I think maybe earlier on as well, I was able to possibly play a security checkpoint, which
yeah, I can't remember if
really hits you
if
quite hard.
you did or not, but yeah, I definitely got security checkpointed a lot in this weekend, which we'll get to.
But yeah, that was that game.
Yeah, so it was about even, I'd say, because like I won cleanly in game 1, you won cleanly in game 2, and then it was close in game 3. So
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
good.
very good. And I think that was evident of how the sideboards, both the characters and the battle cards, how much they can make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have too much of my sideboard that was good against you. I've got my sideboard here in front of me, and it was just Gyroblaster. That was it. I brought in 2 Gyroblasters.
Sure.
Just to try and stop Magnus. That was it.
Right.
That was all I could really do. I mean, I guess I could have brought in the 1 dampening field as well, but I didn't want to take out any of my whites. So that's the other problem with this deck, is the whites are kind of like you're stuck. There's not much leeway. You got 3
You're priced
consoles, you got
into
3
a few of them.
crowns,
Yeah.
and then you got 2 others maybe, depending on what kind of list you play, right? Maybe 2 escape routes. So and you don't really want to take any of those out. So and you don't want to add any more in. So yeah. So that was round 1, and then round 2 I played up against James, running his Elite 1 deck, which he's been working on.
Yeah.
He's been writing about it for his blog. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's been touted around on the
Yeah, we'll put a link in
I
the
think both the
description to the
national
video as well.
and international Facebook things.
Yeah, we'll make sure.
Fun little deck.
Yeah.
Just
Flip
fun
Flip
one.
Bang Bang, I believe it's
Yeah,
called.
that is what it's called.
Yep.
You will find a link in the description to this video at the bottom. And yeah, I got destroyed again against the Elite. I mean, it's partly my fault because I don't know what the right way to approach that matchup is yet with
Sure.
Starscream. because I've got the small guys and they don't really do anything, so they're never gonna. All their damage is just gonna go on because the way that he attacks, he forces you to go into the other characters.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm attacking small damage with the little guys, and then he's just siphoning it all off onto Elite 1. So
Yeah.
I can kill Elite 1 with Starscream because of that, but then he's getting free cards, and then he's ISFing her back in and getting more free cards. So unless I get the kill, the first swing with Starscream, I'm in bad shape. And I only managed to do that once. But yeah, it was not good. I just got beaten up by Elite 1 ISFs. Yeah. Again, I couldn't really do anything, but that's kind of how that. Again, I don't know what I can do to change that matchup except for just play orange and just kill her quicker.
The pieces to make King Starscream work are so tight
Yeah,
that your deck space to change that is
exactly. Like I'm just
isn't easy.
priced into trying to do what I'm trying to do, and that's it.
Yeah, it is a delivery system for Starscream.
Sure.
It's 1-2 Starscream, 1-2 Starscream, 1
Yeah, literally.
Starscream. You know, and it's tough.
So
And it's quite.
Can carry on.
You can read what's going on as well.
Yeah,
So
once you know that
you're
deck,
going
yeah.
against Starscream, great. Okay, Starscream's not going to attack until 3 turns time. I can prep by doing this, this, and this.
Mhm.
Cool, Starscream coming. Great, I'm ready.
Yeah.
And, you know.
I'm pretty sure he checkpointed me as well. So
Right. Okay.
because
We should get should I get a tally out of how many times you got checkpointed and how many
you
times
did
it
it.
hurt you?
You did it once. I think he did it to me. He did it to me twice. One of them was real bad, where it was like my whole hand. And it's just like at that point, I might as well concede, but I'm not gonna because I'm stubborn. So I'm just gonna keep playing.
Yeah, you've got to play on. Like you may find out, and you've got to really play to them. There might not be any, but I don't know.
But yeah.
Certainly, if you've not played against Elite 1, you don't know for certain.
No, yeah,
So
definitely.
her essentially leap of faith off the top after she dies, they could be dead flips, and they
Yes,
might not actually do anything.
They weren't
So-
amazing against me, but yeah. Checkpoint existing
But
is
no,
just
okay.
bad for Starscream. It's just if they know when to time it, because basically you just play it the turn before Starscream's going to attack. Every time,
Yep.
and because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to sculpt my hand to have at least 2 crowns, and
Sure.
if I haven't played the mining pick already, the mining pick or the console, like so that's 3 cards, and then they just wipe them all out with 1 card. So
Sure.
yeah, checkpoint's bad for Starscream. Moving on.
Harsh.
Round 3
All right. Game 3.
was the complete opposite because I played up against Alex, who
Yep. So
he
he's
was
another one of our
playing-
locals.
Yeah, he's another one of our locals. This isn't his main game, so his deck is just a bit of a mix of everything, right?
I think it's the fun stuff that he likes
Yeah.
the look of.
He's like, I like this,
and-
I'm gonna play this.
Yeah,
And that's pretty much
cool.
that's pretty much as far as he goes with it thought wise. But that's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with that. But
No.
when you come up against a deck like King Starscream, which is like finely tuned, and he didn't
Sure.
realize that Starscream could swing for like 15 or 18.
Yeah.
I had to explain
That
to him.
can shock people.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like,
I had to
"How-
explain to him
how was that
the-
18?
Yeah, I was like,
Okay,
I'll
right,
swing.
well.
I'm like, that's 15, and he's like looking at the 4 cards that I flipped, like, how is that 15? And I'm like, well, the mining pick gives +3, and this gives +3, and this gives +3, and he's already 6.
It says only 6 on the card.
Yeah. So yeah, that was just kind of a clean win for me, but
Sure.
yeah, there's nothing that he could have done really. I don't think he had a sideboard either. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was me. I went 1 and 2. And I finished 7th, right? Out of the 8.
Hey, Scrub
I
Brothers.
do have the results. It's
Yeah.
Scrub Brothers. You did finish 7th. Yeah.
Yeah.
out of
So I
8.
came second to last on Saturday. And then that just leaves you, Matt, to finish off the first
well,
tournament.
I guess we've just kind of
Yeah, we've done
gone
the round
over
1.
what my round 1 was like.
Yeah.
So yeah, the deck I was playing was General Prime, so just got released in Siege.
Mhm.
Along with Prowl, previously with the Sentinels from Wave 2.
Mm-hmm.
I've currently got in for the last 7 stars, Private Red Alert, also from Siege. I don't know, hook me up with potential replacement for him, but Barrage is on the cards. Maybe we'll see. Um, the thought process behind the deck was I was given Prime in Sealed, and I'd kind of got to see how he was able to dish out the bold and the tough
Yeah.
to his other teammates. And I thought, well, how do I use both of those abilities? Or do I? Do I use both, or don't I? Do I just focus on one, or what? In the sealed event, because the set's so blue heavy, I was priced into playing blue. And in the sealed event, my damage output just wasn't enough to really go over the top with a lot of the decks during that day. And I quite enjoyed what Prime was about. So I took another look at him towards the beginning of last week, and uh, and just kind of thought, well, maybe I don't go blue, try orange. What other characters can I put in for the 14 stars?
Yeah, sure.
Prowl was an immediate. He actually kind of jumped to me quite quickly with his base 5 attack and already
Bold
having
one.
bold 1.
Yeah.
So it was then meant that I could flip somebody else
Yeah.
and keep his bold 1 and actually getting bold 2
Yeah, sure.
out of it, which was really good. Then the way that the deck's comprised is it's kind of how I used to play Metroplex. So I think a lot of people do too still. But I put in all the doubles and all the duels. So that's 6, 12, 18 duels and doubles.
Yeah.
And so so it's quite consistent. So there's 18 blue cards in the deck, which is really nice and actually meant that the tough did stuff. It allowed for some of those aggressive decks on the day to have to go in twice on some of those smaller characters if they didn't flip well.
Yeah, sure.
So it meant I got a second go out of them, which was really good. Then, so generally speaking, it's Prowl and Red Alert go in early, and I'm left with Prime. Prime flips. He gives bold and tough and focus to just himself, so therefore losing the tough to the other two bodies. But then he's allowed to do, stuff at his strength 6 and bold 1. There's supercharges in the deck. Like the main deck is kind of similar to how I guess Sentinels would have run in Wave 2. So there's a lot of orange. There's supercharges. There's press. But and we've got mining picks to
try and
we've got
set
the
up
doubles.
Magnus.
So
yeah.
well, we've got the doubles, so why not? And also we've got Red Alert and his ability, so actually it's not too
set Red Alert
bad.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And you've got mining pick plus incoming transmission to go even further with that.
Yeah.
It's consistent, I think is probably the best term for it.
Yeah, sure.
We've got matrices, but what's really fun is versus orange. The 3 wide is probably better, and then overall, and then we're able to switch and really change up the way the game plays versus blue decks and sub in Magnus. The deck doesn't change much. We just add the armor, and depending on the matchup, potentially other things. But just being 2 wide, and you have 2 quite heavy hitters. One definitely a heavy hitter, and the other ones can be pretty heavy too. And because you're playing bold, as I said earlier, Magnus's ability can regularly go off. You're just pinging out loads of damage. He doesn't take anything back from that because of his armor. Unless they've got an answer to it early, then it doesn't pose much of a problem for Magnus.
Sure.
He's sitting there at defense 3, and that's quite hard to deal with for a lot of decks.
Yeah, three's a lot.
Yeah, and then I've got tough as well. Like there's that variance for okay, I'm defending for 5, great. Okay, I'm taking 2 or 3 damage. 15, 14 left. That's okay. If the armor can go, then as you can imagine, he goes down to armor 1, so he starts to suffer a little bit, and that's why I just don't think he plays well into orange, with bashing shields being everywhere. Ramming speeds aren't particularly everywhere, but I can see them coming back.
I played 2 today.
And I think even people already are. Like, they have started thinking putting them back because of weapon masters and actual useful utilities popping up.
That
now.
was another thing that I should have mentioned actually about my day yesterday. Is that the extra upgrade removal just really hurt me a lot because I'm relying on mining pick and console, and there's extra ways to get rid of it.
Upgrade for you.
Yeah.
With Magnus as well, I've now got 2 leaders, which means that the matrices now do double time. So I'm now getting +2 out of the matrices.
Nice, yeah, that's good.
Which is quite nice. So it's just like little things like that really all stack up and really fall into his favor.
Yeah.
That was round 1 was against Starscream. Round 2, we played Nick. He was playing with the Grimlock Lionizer, and he was using Swoop.
He was.
Essentially, he was kind of calling it a Dinobots Mark III.
Yeah, I like it. It's like that guy playing Lionizer with the Firecons, right? Same deal.
Sort of, yeah. So his version of the deck is, again, it's an orange deck, so it's aggro heavy, and as is Dinobots, but now because you're running both Swoop and Grimlock, you can have more Dinobot specific things. So he's got Jaws of Steels in there, and your Grimlock flip can go onto Swoop, so that you can actually attack with him rather than having to go in with Grimlock on that turn.
Yeah.
Which is quite good. And then with obviously all the other things, Swoop can actually hit for quite a lot. 5 is not mediocre. 5 attack is not particularly mediocre.
It's pretty scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus the amount of bold that then gets chucked out on top of that. Things fall over. Peace of Tyranny is a thing, and it's scary.
It's a real thing.
On Lionizer, I really do think on my side of the table that those 18 blue cards helped me stay alive longer than I probably should have done.
Sure.
In a couple of the attacks, it's also possible that his attacks just weren't high enough. Like the average attack wasn't high enough. It's hard to really know when you're playing with bold.
Yeah.
Because you've got so many cards in there. You could be flipping loads of doubles.
Exactly,
you could be flipping loads of singles.
There's a lot of variance.
Loads of whites. Yeah, there's a lot of variance in there, and so it's hard to know for certain whether my deck was just an answer or a counter. But it was able to get 2 and 1 overall. Other things that were really nice were immediately being able to remove Lionizer by flipping Prowl after he's dead. So remove a weapon.
Yeah, that's great.
That's Lionizer gone. You're now forced to find Quartermaster, which isn't easy. I had Enforcement Batons with another in the sideboard. If I really needed it, I also had Ramming Speeds. But I don't. That was more for other builds. I think the Ramming Speed.
Yeah. Sure.
But anyway, that meant that I was able to just kind of last just long enough. Like each game was super, super tight.
Right.
The first game I was able to block for a bit more than I should have done, allowed me to kill Lionizer straight away after a grenade launcher on Prowl.
Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't able to Peace Through Tyranny. He wasn't able to ready for action Lionizer. So that was a couple of dead cards
Yeah, sure.
in his hands now. Then so because of that and then being able to remove it, all I had to do was suffer one big swing from Grimlock. I say all I had to do. That's
It's not much to ask. It's fine.
Yeah, I know, right? It just meant that Prowl died, and then you feed over the remainder onto Red Alert. Flip Prowl, Lionizer's gone, and I've got less of an issue. Having spoken to Nick afterwards, there was a couple of possible play mistakes and/or just things that just didn't help him. Beginning of the day, he'd mentioned that he'd have rathered have system reboots over work overtimes.
Yeah, sure.
Just because he was sitting on hands like, as I just mentioned, like where you're sitting on Peace Through Tyrannies and Ready for Actions, you can't actually use them.
Yeah.
And so he'd have rather pitch them, grab new pieces, and carry on.
Yeah, just start, literally just start again, yeah.
Whereas he was using work overtimes, and because he was in that same situation, it's like, well, okay, I'll play work overtime and just draw one. And
yeah, it feels so bad when you do that.
Yeah, it just didn't help him where it needed. And another one that was I think this was possibly the play mistake was after the Lionizer kill from the grenade launcher, he put Lionizer on Grimlock, and swung with Grimlock, knowing that I could just flip Prowl, to remove it.
Yeah.
He went in with Grimlock to do it. But that just then meant I had Red Alert and Prime to go in on Grimlock. And because of that variance, he's not running blank pip cards.
Oh, okay.
So there's no I still functions.
Right.
So once Grimlock's gone,
yeah, he's gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not easy for him to get Lionizer back. So it was just let down to swoop. There was no more Grimlock to be able to boost his bold. He was literally relying on the cards in hand to do
sure.
it. And so that was kind of the difference maker in those games. So yeah, I don't know if this deck is the answer, at least in its current iteration, but it was enough to win that match. So that was that. It was very, very tight games. I did come out of that like I was like shaking a little bit.
I saw you. I saw you afterwards. Like your hands were just like, oh my god.
It's like, how did that happen? That just shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Oh, you played well.
Yeah, no, like that's it. I played with the cards I was dealt.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
Unfortunately, Nick couldn't.
Yeah, it happens.
And so, yeah, going into game 3. At this point, I was now on top table. So I was playing against Matt, who is another local. Previously played a lot of cars.
Yeah,
Hot Wheels.
That's what I was surprised that he hadn't brought that again. I thought he was just going to update it and bring it again.
Well, I think we all kind of went into the day thinking we're just going to play some new stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think there was anyone there playing like particularly old things. At least they had new.
I mean, Starscream might be considered old for other people, but I'd only just recently built the deck, so
sure.
For me, it was still new.
And you had at least new battle cards in there.
Yes, I did have Wave 3 updates in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll allow that. I'll give it a pass. So yeah, I think everyone else was using something new.
Yeah.
I guess Joe as well, but he didn't have a choice. He didn't come with the deck, so he had to use whatever I had.
You're playing this now.
Yep.
This is how you play it.
If you're gonna come into the shop and buy a box and sit with us, then you're gonna get Press Guardians playing the event. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yep, that's totally fair.
I thought he was playing anyway when I came in and I saw him opening a box.
No, he wasn't. Yeah, no, good on you, Joe. For stepping up there, that was great.
Good guy, Joe.
Yeah. So then last year it was against Matt, and he didn't bring cards this time.
Yeah, I was surprised.
It wasn't a surprise. I knew that he had the character.
Okay.
I just wasn't sure if he'd known what he was going to do with it.
Sure.
And so he rocked up with Major Shockwave.
Major Starscream?
Not Major Starscream. No, he's not a Major yet.
He's
Don't
next.
get your hopes up.
That's next. Oh my god.
Major Shockwave.
Sure.
He used a variant, or at least heavily influenced on Stefan Pinkney's deck, S. Kuma.
Yep, shout outs.
And it was tough. That first game, so I'm back in the 3-wide, and I've got, and you'd already mentioned it, Kev, that you just quickly lose cards, and I mean, there's a point where you're just, well, okay, so you're going to flip, I'm going to have to lose a card, you're going to draw a card, great, okay, so that's like double advantage, great, so that's fine. I'm going to play a weapon, sure, that's now another card I've got to lose, right, okay, so I'm down to one card. What are you going to do now? So I'm going to play UFO. Right, sure, yeah, so you're going to flip again, and you're going to flip-flop, and you're going to draw, and then I'm going to discard. Right, cool. So I don't have much of a next turn.
Yeah.
So I was left with top decking with 2 light to middleweight characters and 1 mid to heavyweight character. It just wasn't enough to deal with Shockwave, Aimless, and Detour. Like, I struggled against Detour. He has no armor, damn it.
You're not in a good. Yeah.
Not in a good spot. Yeah.
Exactly.
It was rough. I couldn't wait to get out of that first match.
Oh, no.
So can this be over? Can this be over quick? Because I know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, sure. At that point, you might sometimes that is where you should just concede just to save the time, right?
Yeah.
Sure, but like the match is early. We're all still.
Yeah. I mean, at that point,
with the cards and the teams, and like,
we hadn't decided.
It's good for people to get reps in and things. So
yeah.
I'm happy for that to go. I don't want it's not a super large official event. I don't want to just say, right, should we just call this? Like, I'm happy to concede here.
Yeah,
I do want people to kind of see their decks do their thing, and even if that means I'm going to lose, I'd rather see my deck do something, because I might actually be able to pull it out of the bag. So.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm just thinking, because of the way that if you get a time now, it's just a draw. So
for sure.
Now you've got to weigh it even more. Like sometimes you've got to even I think you got to take a gamble, where sometimes you might even be able to scratch back in, but you're like, I need the time for the third game. I need to just concede. I think that's a consideration you've got to do now.
That's a very relevant thought process.
Yeah. I think it always has been in card games, but I think it's even more now, in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Until they change their end of.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, continue. You know
right.
what you're doing, and then you were.
I knew I was doing.
Sideboarding.
So I went into match 2. I sideboarded. Brought in relevant pieces. So Pressed Advantage came in, Magnus Armor and Magnus came in. I think I brought in the second batons, not 100%, and just went at it. Having 2 decent sized characters meant I was able to pick off the smaller guys quickly. I think I was able to blindside Matt when he tapped Shockwave early for an attack, and I was able to put on a lot of damage onto Shockwave. I think it was enough to kill him exactly.
Wow.
Which it wasn't from scratch. I'd done some damage previously. It wasn't 17.
I was gonna say.
But it was big. I recall it being maybe 13 or 14.
That's still pretty impressive.
But yeah, it was big, and it was enough to finish him off. And it was whoa, okay, yeah. Magnus means business.
Yeah, that's one thing that we noticed straight away when we started. When we were playing, we played how many games when we recorded? It's at least 2 sets with him, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and straight away we realised, okay, yeah, this guy's an issue. Like,
yeah,
he swings big.
need to prep for Magnus potentially.
Yeah.
And then Shockwave down. That left, I think maybe at this point, either Detour or Aimless. And I think it was Detour actually, because I was able to follow up with in the next turn Prime going in on Detour with Press the Advantage and Supercharge or something. I was like, yeah, he's gonna. I'm sorry, Detour, you're going down this time.
I'm gonna be sick. That's disgusting. That's completely unnecessary.
It was unnecessary, but you have to make sure.
Where's the referee? Unnecessary roughness. Where is he? Come on. You're supposed to be the referee. You're the guy in charge.
Yeah, so I can make the rules, right?
Yeah. Okay, I guess.
Adjudicate this.
So we go into match 3. We get a second chance to sideboard. I don't. I'm pretty happy with what I got. And Matt changes. He takes this opportunity to sideboard in his smaller characters. He didn't think they were putting in enough weight versus the 2 big ones that I had. And subbed in Shockwave 1.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about this.
And I see that come in, and I'm thinking, actually, that's fine. It's now 2 big characters that I've got to deal with, and one's only got 11 health. So I don't feel like it's too big of an issue. More to that, I think Matt sided in some cards, and I think that system reboots came in and things like that. But it didn't really. I don't think it was quite enough. I think when Matt opened up that round, he flipped Shockwave 1. So he's now on bot side. So now bear in mind he's only strength 4. And went in on Magnus. And I don't believe Magnus took any damage from it. And I think that was a potential bad move. Like, he should have probably flipped Major and kept Shockwave 1 in, because you couldn't play any actions anyway. So you weren't prepping for system reboots or anything. You just have 2 big heavy hitters, and I think that would have benefited him more. But I don't know. The result was that I think after like 4 attacks from my side, I was able to take them out. It felt much more favourable when he went down to 2 wide. Mostly because of time. I think with a 3 wide, time was a factor. With 2, it was like, okay, I know that I can get this done in sub 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's the key, isn't it?
So, result of the day was that General Prime and Company won.
Yay. Congratulations.
Yeah, that was really cool. And James kind of highlighted it today, actually, when we were in Southampton. It's like, so the 2 times that you've won our local events are when you played mixed pip decks.
Yeah. That was
I was like, oh wow, okay, yeah, is that what I'm now going to be known as? It's like mixed pip Matt.
That was the first thing that Nick said as well. He's like, wow, so yeah, the first wave 3 constructed event and a mixed pip deck wins.
Very curious.
Yeah.
Go
on.
Did we feel that black pips mattered?
I don't remember seeing any that I faced anyway.
I think I was running the most on the day on Saturday.
Sure.
And maybe the 1 or 2 damage here and there helped, but realistically, I removed them for a reason afterwards. I don't think the black pip is going to be all that relevant.
No.
In the wider meta game.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it was. So today, I felt like there was a bit more pressure when black pips were present. There were times versus, I think actually I played against Bugs, and he had a few black pips, and I'm sitting on big defense, and it's like, well, actually, like all of this defense doesn't really matter for much when I'm taking a consistent 2 or 3 damage, and that's just going to whittle me down, if nothing else. So, so I think it does. It is relevant, and it does do something. I mean, okay, yeah, I mean, but maybe not, it didn't on Saturday. But I think that might have just been a difference between the two sides, the two cities doing having two different fields of decks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's-
I agree. I should also add that while you were talking about the he was bringing in black pips from the sideboard. I spoke to him about that afterwards, so I was wondering why, because I saw him do that, and he said that
Yeah.
he literally only has them in there for the blue matches
Yeah,
where he struggles.
Sure.
And it's not even like the way he thinks about it. Like is good, I think, because he's like, I don't care about them for the first swing. Really, it's mainly just for like when I need to get that 1 or 2. Like at the end, like I've missed my first swing by 1 or 2, and I don't really want to like do a big one, so I'll just save my upgrade and just go in, and then if I flip the blacks, then that's all I need, right?
Yeah,
and if you can reliably hit those, that's not a terrible shout.
Yeah, because obviously he's playing Bugs, so he's flipping kickback a lot. So
Yeah,
I can't remember how many he was bringing in, but
yeah, if you only need
it seemed to work.
2 or 3,
Yeah,
and it means that you don't need to swing with kickback, then cool.
yeah, that's fair.
Interesting.
because if you can just supercharge Ransack, right? Send him in instead, and flip some blacks instead of sending in kickback to like finish someone off with 2 health. Like yeah, it feels so much better doing that.
I think none of us really knew what everyone was going to be turning up with exactly on at Brighton. I mean, we didn't really know when we were going to Southampton either, but
No.
we'd had a little bit of practice amongst ourselves the previous day.
Yeah.
But in Brighton, it felt like it was way more blue heavy, but no one was really prepared for that. So there wasn't many black pips.
I wasn't expecting
outside
that
of
blue.
yourself, Kevin.
Yeah.
But then it was only really myself, I guess, playing orange, and Nick with his Grimlock
Yeah,
Lionizer.
I guess.
So
'cause, yeah, normally I play orange, but I play blue, and Mike wasn't
Yeah.
able to make it, and he usually plays orange, and then Matt normally plays Hot Wheels, which is orange. So
exactly.
so yeah, we're like
So
most of us
I
were
think,
like, oh
like,
yeah,
when
we're
we saw-
expecting orange. But
we knew the people that were coming, and we were like, oh, we kind of know the things that those people like, and
Yeah.
we've played a number of games versus James, so we kind of know what his thing.
well, I think we knew
about.
what James was bringing anyway because of his blog.
Yeah, sure. Like, but try not to read into that.
No,
too
yeah,
much.
sure.
Like, but
That would be an interesting long game if he spends a month doing his blog, hyping up this deck, and then just
and then bring
Bring
something
something
else.
else.
bring
Yeah.
something else.
I mean, that's a smart man's move.
I mean, that's kind of what I
That's a
did.
Martell move.
That's kind
that
of what I
is.
did. I mean, I spent all these months prepping Starscream, played him one day, and then was like, nah, I'm done.
Yeah.
No, it was a wonderful day down in Brighton.
Yeah,
good
it was
turnout.
nice.
Good.
Lovely.
Glad you had fun.
Yeah, made the treacherous journey all from
Treacherous. I mean, you're on Southern Rail, so I
yeah,
get it.
well, yeah. I'll give you that one.
I mean, yeah, that rail route, man. It's something else.
That's those straight lines.
Those straight lines. Man. But yeah, so with one event down, we were halfway through our weekender.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
before we go into the second half, do you want to talk about what testing you did in between?
Oh, yeah. So my testing in between consisted of playing myself.
Yeah, obviously. I think that's what we all do.
Yeah, it gets limited.
I
Yeah.
made my changes. I slapped down my Hot Wheels deck and ran it into that a couple of games,
Sure.
just to see if it was more likely to live a bit longer. And I always it came down to it's always better if I see a Callous Leadership and heal 5 off Megs.
Yeah.
Sure.
And the extra spicy tech for the extra defense plays were relevant. So yeah, I did some reps against that, and I was quite happy. I was like, yeah, Hot Wheels is still good against this deck, but no one's going to play that fine. Especially my deck, which is running Spicy Tech as well. I mean, who's going to run those? So,
I don't know. Maybe the person you give the deck to.
Yeah, maybe the guy that borrow a deck after coming up from Plymouth. Yeah. So yeah, Southampton on Sunday. Born in the City is the Southampton local gaming cafe.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely venue. All for charity, non-for-profit. Lovely group of volunteers.
Yeah, really cool.
I volunteer as the Transformers organised play guy, so I'm the guy in charge of making the events and making it happen. And as a result, I now get to wear a shiny pen.
Yeah, that was cool. You
that was.
You came in wearing a cool wrestling shirt, and then 5 minutes later you were wearing a cool purple Judge shirt, and I was like, "Whoa, what happened?
What's going on?"
You transformed.
Yeah, so I was quite happy with my deck. Made some changes to the main deck, made some changes to the sideboard, and I went into the day hoping to get 10 players. I had, including myself, I had 6 locals turn up, which was great, and then I had a carload from Brighton, which was lovely, and the aforementioned Blaze coming up from Plymouth.
Lads on tour.
So not only did the Brighton meta invade Southampton.
Yeah, you were scaring your players by calling us that. That was hilarious.
This is the Brighton meta. All three of them.
Brighton meta. All 3 of them. No. So it was lovely to have you guys and James as well. And then Blaze, who had travelled up from Plymouth, he runs his own shop as well, and he is looking to get Transformers. He's got a few card game fans down there, and they want to really push the game. So he emailed me in the week and was like, "Hey, if I come up, can you teach me the game, and I can play in the event?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. If you need to borrow a deck, just borrow one of mine. What's the worst that could happen?"
Famous last words.
On the
That's
morning,
really proactive of the guy.
Yeah, that's cool.
It was a great shout from him.
Put himself out there to.
Yeah, definitely. That's a
long
way
to play.
That's a long way to travel as well. Like
it's not a short journey.
No, especially for that's a lot of effort to go when he's not even doesn't know that it's going to take off. Like he obviously cares about it.
Yeah,
exactly.
He's got passion, and passion's what you. Right?
Yeah.
So, so he came up, and as promised, before the event started, I played him with I played Living Weapon against my Hot Wheels deck.
Yeah.
He took that game down after killing Megatron exactly, and I was like, oh, that's a good start.
You've learned how to play that deck then.
I was like, well, this is what you do usually. You draw and discard all the cards with Wheeljack. You use Bumblebee, you draw and you play these 6 cards that say stand a car, and you win games.
Yeah.
And
Sounds
that's
about
how
right.
it goes.
Oh no, you forgot the unfair card. You forgot the unfair card.
That's right. That Spice card. Yeah.
Unfair advantage.
Yeah.
Press the unfair advantage.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Unfair advantage. that definitely bit me in the butt later. Yes, we had 10 players in total, which was the number I needed to hit because I had told everyone that should we hit 10 players, with the money going into the prize pool, I would get a super special prize for first place.
Yeah, ooh, super secrets.
I think that's why everyone came.
Yeah,
that's it. Now, obviously, Transformers fans, the Transformers card game has drawn not only card gamers and other gamers, but also Transformers. So I had put a poll up in the event to say, hey, should there be a super special prize? Would you guys prefer more boosters? Can't go wrong with more boosters. We're all cardboard crack addicts for it.
Yeah.
Or would you like a new graphic novel? Transformers graphic novel. I hear they're quite good.
Yeah.
Or would you appreciate a Siege figure from the new line that's just been released?
That's
Well,
feeding 2 addictions. You got
Exactly.
plastic crack and cardboard crack. What are you supposed
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
I knew that I needed to draw players, right? So what can you do?
to do?
Play to their weaknesses.
Oh no.
Cunning.
Yes, I like your style. I
So
like it.
on the morning, I tranced down to Forbidden Planet in Southampton. I picked up a Ultra Magnus figure from Siege,
Yeah,
and that was our super special prize.
it was.
Um, so with 10 players, we were able to do 4 rounds to see who came out on top.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
played Living Weapon
Yeah,
with my
we ran the
changes.
same deck.
I ran the same
You
deck.
ran the same deck, made the
with-
improvements
Well, with the
from night
updates,
before.
yeah, with the
With the
updates.
updates, not running
Well, I say
back.
improvements. They weren't proven up improvements at that point.
Oh, they definitely felt better.
No, good. I'm glad they do. Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, that's good. I feel better. I feel confident. I mean, I know what my weaknesses could be, but I've updated my sideboard. That's all good. I've got some anti-aggro cards. I've got some anti-combine, anti, meta cards to see if people are running. I know there's going to be at least one RC Leonizer deck. Got to worry about that. So I made sure to sideboard for that. Let's see. Yeah, how do you say, kind of jinxed myself by saying, hey, Mark, you're playing bugs. I haven't done that test yet. I should really, practice that game.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, my first pairing is against Mark.
Yeah.
And you were like, yeah, so Starscream
Yeah.
wasn't my biggest fan yesterday.
No, he was not kind to me. So he's been put on the shelf for a little while.
So you went back to Old Faithful.
Oh yeah,
You're on the bench.
I mean, do you want me to go through my rounds first, or do you want to carry on with yours? Because I was going to go through my testing process.
Yeah, if you want to explain what your testing process.
Okay, cool. So yeah, Starscream wasn't kind to me at all. So I had a little bit of a midlife mid tournament weekend crisis on Saturday evening. I came home, I looked at Starscream, I felt sad. I put him away in a box. Had a little funerary procession through my flat, and yeah.
What's really amusing for everyone that has never been to Mark's house is that you walk into his room and he's got cabinets with many Starscreams in, so you can't really turn far without seeing Starscreams.
I'm looking at them right now,
sniveling face at him. So it's just like I just want you out of. I don't want to see you. I don't want to look
at you. Yeah, literally. So yeah, he went away in a box for a while, and I brought back out the bugs because that was my first deck after Dreadwing and Thrust, and just ran loads of decks against that. Basically, I was like, I need to find a reason to not play this tomorrow. So I tried, and I tried really hard. I ran loads of new decks ideas against it, and a couple that I already had built, mainly the Decepticons, like the new guys, Run Amok and Runabout. And that, surprisingly, does quite well against bugs, with the flipping healing and stuff. It's not too bad, but it's still not quite there. I think I still need to test it more to be good, to be confident to go into a tournament and do well against aggro decks with it. So yeah, after hours of testing on Saturday night with different decks, Metroplex, loads of things, I ended up just being, no, bugs is what I know the best, so just stick with it, play it tomorrow. If you're going to drive how many miles to the tournament, you might as well go and play something that you know you can play and do fairly well with. So that was my thought process. So we ran the Swarm, and yeah, first round we came up against Kevin, who wanted to test against it, so...
I mean, everyone should do the bug test.
Yeah,
right?
I think you have to have it. You have to have at least one person that has it built in your playgroup to run every deck against it.
Absolutely.
Book an appointment with your GP for the bug test.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's got to be done.
Get your vaccinations early.
So I felt, hey, maybe if I can just keep Megs alive just long enough, I might be okay, as long as there's no ice still functions happening. I should be okay. Right, let's give it a go.
Yeah, I mean, once it all happens, like Megatron can one-shot each of the characters.
Yeah, once he gets totally online, when he's dual
Yeah,
wielding, dual wielding with a force field, maybe see a few of them.
and the aimless 3 damage is super relevant versus
Super relevant.
Scrapnel.
And
Yeah.
me as a bug player looking at aimless with tough 3, I'm thinking, oh god, how many attacks am I going to have to send at this guy?
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, this is obviously my first attacker. He might soak up 3 or 4 attacks. Good.
Yeah.
That's good. And then I lost the dice roll.
Yeah.
Mark, you went first.
Yeah, I did go first.
I believe
I
Meg's
sensed.
got hit. I think
Yeah.
Meg's got hit for like 4 or 5.
Yeah, I sent Scrapnel into Megatron, obviously.
That was pretty good.
And then,
maybe not 4 or 5. Maybe it'd been about 3 or 4.
Yeah,
and
sounds
then I'm
about
like, yeah, okay, cool. So I'll draw a card. All right, I can't do much. Fine. Yeah, let's go in with aimless. You
Yep.
should soak up those 3 attacks.
Yep.
Cool. Excellent. Then on your turn, I
Yep.
believe it was there was a grenade launcher
And a supercharge, I think, right?
and supercharge. Yeah,
It wasn't even on kickback. It was just on little old Ransack. I was like, okay, this will do some damage to aimless. It's not going to kill him. It might get close, but not with tough 3. No way.
No way. And then
Boom.
I proceeded to get 1 blue. I think
Yeah, 1 single blue.
all of those orange cards, like my sparring gears and the other cheeky orange cards, just happened to come out. I think I had like double whites as well.
Yeah.
And
6
down
oranges
he
come to
went
bite you in the butt.
Yeah, 1 shot aimless.
shot.
And I was
Well,
like, we looked at each other in shock, just like, wait, what? Did that just happen?
I was like, well, that's not a good sound.
And then
So-
then I passed the turn, picked up the rest of my hand, looked at my hand, and realised that I had a ramming speed in my hand.
Yeah.
So the aimless that I just killed, that had just gone on to Megatron, I was like, oh, well, I guess that's gonna go next turn.
And I'm like, obviously, I'm not gonna attack with.
He didn't know that
Megatron
though
yet.
at this point. So,
I didn't know that. So
yeah,
I'm not gonna attack with Megatron. Obviously, another attack.
yeah. Why would you expose him like that?
I've lost Meat Shield 1. Why would I expose Megatron against bugs? That's crazy. It's fine. I'll just he'll one shot, ransack, maybe kick back in a minute. That's okay. Cool. Yeah. So then the ramming speed happened.
Yeah.
And at that point, it was pretty much all she wrote.
Because I think I ramming speeded your aimless, and then I swang in with kickback and killed Blowpipe, right?
Yep.
And then he was just left with Megatron.
To take 2 hits, I think, with an armor, if I was lucky. It was not great.
No.
So that was a fast game.
Yeah.
So off I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I've got my sideboard. I've got some relevant cards in here. I look in my sideboard and I'm like, excellent. Okay, cool. So we won't sideboard any characters because Fire Drive does nothing.
Yep.
So I have some infiltrate. We'll put some infiltrate in. That seems good.
Yep.
Went with dampening field because I thought that was a good card at the time.
Sure.
Espionage because you might hit a good orange card. You might hit something decent.
Mm-hmm. I mean, espionage is kind of just an infiltrate, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
It does the same effect. It just gets
does
rid
the
of an
same.
orange card. You just get to choose which one, kind of.
Yep. Gyro blasters went in because
Of course, yeah.
You make sure that Megs is safe, and I had 2 squish them like bugs, so all 10 cards in my side.
Wow.
And I thought,
Wow.
hey, that should help.
Yeah.
So during the game, espionage and infiltrate did work. I think
Yes.
I espionaged something. I think I espionaged a decent orange card, and I
You
think I
espionaged a
the
bashing
bashing shield.
shield when you had a force field on you, I think.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and infiltrate cancelled a swarm, which was nice.
Yeah, that was good. That was a clutch swarm as well because you had Megatron with like 11 damage on him or something.
Yep.
So it would have been tough, like where you wanted to put him.
Where I want to put it.
Yeah.
So that was good. And I saw the dampening fields, and as soon as I played it, I then immediately realised that the card is not.
No, it's not that good against bugs, I don't think.
I was like, this doesn't do anything.
It just it shuts down kickback, sure, but and maybe
That's it.
barrage if they play a supercharge, but they could just draw an erratic lightning or a grenade launcher. So
Yep. I think the best play I had against you was I was able to kill. I was able
Yeah, I
to
remember this.
kill a
Erratic lightning.
erratic lightning on your turn.
Oh yeah, on
which
my
was nice.
turn, I swang in with an erratic lightning, and he's like, "No, thanks. I think I'll bolster."
I think I'll bolster, and I think I'll play this Scrapper Gauntlets.
Yeah, that was good.
Secret bolster tech.
Yeah,
Bolster Tech. It is a good card.
it is a good card.
Why people aren't talking about Bolster, I do not know.
Yeah.
We will discuss this more later.
Yeah, we will. We'll come back to that.
Yeah, let's finish up our wrap up and.
So 0-2 against Bugs. So I tested the Bugs game. Turns out, not so hot. Excellent. So round 2. What was that Blaze guy from Plymouth? Oh,
Yeah.
he was needed to borrow a deck. Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I remember.
Here you go. Have my Hot Wheels. That's fine.
Oh yeah. Just take that. That's fine.
That's fine. Here's how you play it. He got how to play it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
He whooped Megatron's butt very fast in the first game.
Wow.
Meaning I had to sideboard again very quickly. Infiltrate, Gyroblasters, and Espionage all did work. Espionaging, press, infiltrating something else, and then Gyroblasters to be like, no, doesn't matter how much bold you have, you were just flipping 2, and Megs is going to just survive. I think I had a Callous Leadership as well, so that did the work. I was able. It took me a while, but I was able to turn that game around. Unfortunately, I won the game just as time was called, meaning that we did not really have time for game 3. Given how game 2 had went, and knowing that if we had played, it would have taken me a long time to turn the game around again. I conceded and let him take the game.
Yeah, I thought that was really nice of you, by the way, because you didn't have to do that.
Well, no, of course not. But
I thought it was cool that you did that, because obviously he's trying to get into the game, and he travelled a long way, and you're trying to teach him the game. You just want him to go away with a good experience, right?
Have a good experience, absolutely. And knowing that you're not favourable in the matchup, like it's fine. I could have had an extra half an hour maybe, and it may have taken long to turn the game around. So I'm more than happy to concede at that point. That is absolutely fine by me. So 0-2, not great, good. I was like, well, if I can go 50-50, at least it's shown an improvement. The deck certainly felt better. The changes were very relevant, and I was just hoping that maybe it's still having issues against all of this high stat attack. It's just getting pounded. So okay, we'll carry on and see what happens. I was against a local player, Ian, in round 3, who was playing with new General Megatron. He had decided to try him out in orange with 2 Micromasters and 3 Star cards to just try and hit really hard and do the job. Now, unfortunately for Ian, I don't believe he has the card pool necessary to really build consistent decks. And I explained to him after that, the card pool is the first thing you need, and everything else can follow. And unfortunately for him, it was both games. I think I killed Megatron first time in both of them, leaving him with two 4 or 5 star guys. That's it. Much like my deck, if Megatron dies with 2 chuds, he was also left with 2 chuds. So easy round for me there. Much apologies to Ian, but he was having a good time.
Yeah, he seemed to be having fun. So
he was having fun. And that's the important thing. Then round 4 was against Matt, not running Prime and his cronies.
We had
the
tournament organizer showdown.
I'll interject here and just kind of explain a little bit why I wasn't playing. Prime again. So the prizes on offer were very similar to what we had down in Brighton the previous day, and obviously as we just explained, I did win that, and so I got the full set of the foil promos. I didn't want to just run that same thing again. I think realistically, and if I was playing to go towards a stronger event, then probably I should have done to try and just get the more reps in and stuff.
But
I felt like I can just take a little bit of a seat back and play with something a little bit something different.
Play with your baby. You can play with your little baby.
I play with my little experiment that I often ramble about.
Your big experiment in this case.
My big experiment, yeah. And just to see if any of the changes I made were actually worth it. And you know, Joe did well with it the previous day.
Exactly,
so gotta be okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I brought Menasor out, and I wanted to play with him again. He's one of my favorite decks. He's not super competitive. I think everyone already knows that. He's just, for me, he's very fun.
That's good though. It's always good. I think everyone should have like two kinds of decks, like one competitive deck and one deck which they just like having fun with, right?
Yeah, exactly. I can just kind of like leave my brain out, you know. Just kind of like just sit there and I just play, do some things.
Just do cool things, yeah.
So
yeah,
as you were.
Definitely from the games, I was like, wow, tough padding's really good on combine.
Oh, the extra padding, yeah, it's real good.
Like, whoo, that is nice. Being able to play 3 on 3 different guys, and then when you combine, have 3 of them. That's tough to get through.
Yeah.
That was
pun intended.
No pun intended. So I believe the games went as such. First game, it felt very back and forth. Both of us just getting a little bit of damage here and there. I think I saw extra cutlasses quite consistently. With Megatron's flip and obviously Aimless enabling the tough to just put the cutlasses in the bin. I found them quite regularly throughout the weekend like that. And just 3 PS3, just get there. I think when you combined with Menasor in the first game, 15 health left.
Sounds about right. Yeah, I think it was 20. Yeah, that makes sense. 20, 35.
The blowpipe with the cutlass and Megatron with Aimless on him was able to just get him down from there. And that felt okay. And I was like, all right, cool. I don't think I need to sideboard too heavy. I think I put in Gyro Blasters because of your tough. But the infiltrates weren't relevant. The dampening fields weren't relevant. I think I put the espionage in just because espionage is fine. And then you definitely did sideboard, didn't you?
Yeah. I had discussed with these guys for a little while about like, well, what do you do with like combiners? Like, what sideboard character do you put in? Do you? And what is it? And I was like, well, if I'm going to be on like the low tables, maybe it's time to just bring out another character that I haven't had a chance to use, and he looks like he could be a bit of fun. So I chose Cog.
I love
Sergeant Cog. Sergeant Cog, he's 10 stars.
He is 10 stars.
That's just 2 of the characters, and I just get to have some fun. Like, it means that one of those little guys can potentially hit big, and that, I think, was what I was thinking of when I made that decision. Because that is the problem early game, is that they aren't doing a lot. They're hitting consistently for like 3 damage. You know, like there's so much pierce abilities in the deck that whenever they're swinging, they're applying about 3 damage per swing. But it's not enough.
No,
and
it's not.
When it meant that I was just losing characters, yes, I get to combine, but to what real end? Because Megatron's still alive, I'm still only attack 6, and I'm still going to fall down. Mm-hmm. So I kind of went in with the mentality of thinking, well, if I can get Cog going early, then maybe it can do something. I really wasn't sure.
Yeah, sure. I
just
don't think
wanted to have some
anybody
fun with
knows.
it.
Nobody knows what to do with Cog. Like, yeah.
No, I don't think so. No, I just really wanted to have some fun with it.
Yeah, of course.
So I dropped him in. I think I extended the security console. Or did I take the security consoles out? I can't remember. Obviously, I took out the Enigmas and added in braveries. Try and force people to attack Cog, because otherwise they're never going to go on him.
Yeah.
But I did possibly the stupidest thing when playing a Battlemaster on opening turn. What do you do with a Battlemaster? You attack with the Battlemaster.
Well, yeah.
I didn't.
Oh no.
Yep.
I was like, oh wow. As soon as I'd done it, I was like, oh, that was stupid.
What have I done?
It was
What have I not done?
I played a day of blue. It was the fourth game. Like, it was 2 days of tournaments. Like, clearly, I'm calling it some kind of exhaustion. Was definitely setting in at this point. I was making play mistakes all over the show. And yeah, that was definitely one of them.
I mean, I was still off my game going, where's this Cog come from? What is going on?
What is this? What is he doing?
Yeah.
But yes, much like in any master, you just kill the other characters first, right?
Yeah.
That was my mentality.
Yeah.
That's
I never saw the braveries.
Yeah, you need
them. Kept flipping past me. I was like, oh no, I don't want that. No, come back.
I did kill 2 little guys before I killed Cog. But
you did.
And by then it was.
I was able to set up the kill on Cog. You were coming in with Megatron for 14 damage.
I was.
I had a security console on Cog with a blank pipped card in hand.
Nice.
And I set it up on top of the deck.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, nice.
And I then only followed up with 1 extra blue, which when I was blocking for 12, blocking for 2.
Yeah.
I took 12 damage. Cog's only got 12 damage.
Yeah,
I was like, this is perfect. And Motormaster got a new friend.
Yeah, I have a hilarious picture of Motormaster equipped with Cog, or whatever it's called on that side, the Heavy Force Defense Breaker Cannon, and an extra padding.
Some ridiculous name.
And an extra padding. So it just looks so weird. There's like a small character with a massive weapon and then a regular size card, like as an armor. So it's like 3 completely different size cards, basically. And you're just like, what the hell is going on?
Sitting across the board from a Megatron with 2 weapons, and you're like, this is fine.
It just looks so weird, like a massive weapon on a small Motormaster.
My weapon is bigger than yours.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely is.
So
yeah, and I was able.
It was just too late.
Yeah,
it was too late. And I was able to kill your last. But as banter games go, that's definitely one of them.
It was
so
good.
that was my weekend. I finished up 2-2 on the Sunday. Changes feel good. More things to learn. Mainly just dump dampening field from the sideboard. It doesn't do enough. It could just be a better card.
Yeah, I think Gyroblast is just better.
Like, it should do stuff, and then you play it and you go, oh, actually, it actually stops like 1 extra card off a bold flip, maybe 2.
Yeah,
like anything.
It's not great.
I mean, unless they're flipping
not as strong as we first
whites,
thought.
like it doesn't do as much as you think. I don't think.
No, much would just remove them, put in the 3rd gyro.
Yeah,
and
I think gyro is just better because it's a constant effect. It's not like a one-time only thing, and it's a utility, so you can put it on your character and get +1 as well.
Yeah, and certainly in my deck because I'm already running quite, and they're whites that I can't remove. I'm running 3.
Yeah, that's the other problem. It's a white pip. It's hard. White
with 3 force field, 3 quartermaster, 2 canvas leaderships. I think I dropped 1.
Yeah,
maybe 3. Like, that's still 8-9 white pips, and you're like, well, I can't.
That's
take any
still
of
a lot. Yeah.
like
I still think 8 is too many in Starscream, but you're kind of priced into playing 8. So
yeah. So it felt better, and I went 2-2. So definitely an improvement, but definitely more things to think about if I'm to continue playing. The theory that the idea and the strategy behind it makes sense, but with the sheer amount of weapon hate
removal,
hate,
It's
You're
bad.
yeah, well, I
It's
can
bad,
wield
unfortunately.
2, but how long am I going to have hold of them?
Yeah.
So
That was the first thing that was the first change I made to my bug list. I was like, right, well, we're running 2 bashing shields. We're putting 2 more ramming speeds in as well, straight away.
yeah,
Main deck,
yeah.
they have to go in for now until we see how it shakes out.
And especially if Bolster gets to see more play, like that, the Megatron dual wielding deck just falls over. Like, you're like,
Yeah.
that's a dead.
Mhm.
But,
I'll
it is-
reveal Bolster, play Scrapper Gauntlets.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
later,
definitely, it's definitely a fun deck to play.
Yeah, it's obviously a fun deck to play because you're not alone. Like, there's how many people in like the South Coast area that all had the same kind of similar brainwave? They're just like, let's play Megatron and dual wield. It seems so much fun.
It was really amusing. Just like after we'd spoken about it on the last podcast, Kevin was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do this double battle master thing."
Yeah,
and then we get one of the first comments back was James, like local guy to us. He goes, "Oh, I can't believe Kevin stole my idea." and then Michael turns around and was like, "But that was my idea." I was like, oh wow.
And there's me thinking, I hadn't thought of it at all. I literally it hadn't crossed my mind once.
It hadn't even crossed my mind.
No, it hadn't at all.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't a. It's an obvious concept in hindsight, but yeah, depending on what the metagame does, it might just fall over there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to be better to just pick one and then have a better secondary support character, right?
That is unfortunately probably true.
Yeah.
But then you're like, well,
we all know who it's going to be.
The problem with that is you're like, well, why am I running living weapons?
yeah, that too, yeah. It just changes the entire deck, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you put living weapon back in the trash where it belongs.
Unfortunately, him and Starscream can go chill in the corner somewhere.
Yeah. So, how did you? How did you do on this Sunday?
How did I do? Overall, it wasn't as fantastic as Joe did on Saturday, so that's probably enough for me to commit seppuku and retire all existence of ownership of Menasor and hand it over to Joe because he clearly could handle it better than I could.
Damn, really that bad?
No. Jokes aside, yeah, it wasn't that great. Interestingly, I had a couple of good games. So early on, I was also paired up against a bug player who ended up being the event winner.
Yep.
And it was close. If it wasn't for the blue game being quite a slow game, then I'd have really loved to have played a third game. Unfortunately, we were left with 8 minutes on the clock, and I wasn't confident that I'd have done. I definitely wouldn't have won in those 8 minutes. So I just made the call that I think Dan could have the win. It was fine. So yeah, that was absolutely fine. But it was but being able to get the single win off of him was a surprise to me. I don't know what it was like for him, but I found it really helped if before you combine, if you can kill one of the characters, then that helps a lot. I hadn't played bugs properly for a long time. I'm not even sure I played them during the course of Wave 2, so it's been quite a while since I played against them properly.
I played them for a bit, but I was mainly playing Dreadwing in Wave 2.
No, I played one of yours actually, didn't I, when I played Thunder Bee?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had one match.
Yeah, sure.
Recently. Anyway, so I felt like I needed to remove one. So that was kind of my game plan going in, was one taps down, try and put as much onto one as I possibly can. And in the first game, that sort of worked. I went first. I picked a target, and I think I attacked Kickback early on, and put on a bit of damage. Okay, fine. He then proceeded to not attack with that character. So I was like, oh, okay, that was a wasted attack. That's fair. But at least that's damage for later that I now don't have to deal. But then this character is likely to stay down for like four turns, so I'm gonna get a chance to take down this one. I think it was Ransack, and it was enough for me to take him out before I combined, which was cool. By the time I combined, I was sitting on at least 2 paddings, and I think at one stage I might have hit the third, and I wasn't left with much health at this point, as I'm sure you'd imagine, playing against bugs. So I combined, and I think when I'd actually combined, I only had like between 8 and 10 health to go.
Yeah.
But the heavy tough that I was laying out was enough for me to be able to weather the heaviest parts of the storm.
It happens sometimes. Like,
yeah,
as the bugs play, like sometimes
could,
it's frustrating. You just can't get through the tough.
If I could defend a chunk of barrages damage or kickbacks damage, then it was okay. There was a point where I was able to attack, and I'm hitting for 6, and they're playing orange, so there's not really much defense.
No. Yeah, you can,
for
pretty
them.
much what's on the board is what you're looking at, right? With bugs.
Yeah, so I'm running with grenade launchers and leap into battles. So that's great. Like between them and maybe bigger they are or heavy-handed, like that's potentially one-shotting a bug each turn.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the plan at that point. It's like, okay, now I'm big. Let's do that. That's one shot a bug every turn. I'm drawing loads of cards from pep talks and enigmas, and potentially checkpoints. Not checkpoints. Security consoles, and now I'm tough loads. So there was a point where I had 3 characters on me, and I was able to defend. I think I had like 4 damage left, and I was able to defend against Barrage, Chop Shop, and Ransack. I don't think this was in the game 1, but it was enough. The tough was enough for me to take very minimal damage and weather that storm, come back and attack Barrage, and kill Barrage.
Nice.
And it was like, this is great. Like, if I could just keep doing this, like, I just need another game. And like I say, that third game the second game ended, and it was like, okay, we could go into a third. Sure. Just wasn't the time. So it was, it's fine. I'm just sitting here having some fun with Menasor. You go try and win the tournament.
That's fair.
Yeah. So I let Den have that one. And then my game 2 was against one of Kev's locals, Simon. Played against a double Shockwave. So I'd had some experience with the Shockwave twins from day before.
All this talk of Shockwave, all of you have faced Shockwave. I've yet to face Shockwave.
I've twice now.
I've stood and watched people play him a lot. I have yet to sit down and face it against him, because maybe he's got him in our group yet that like plays consistently, right?
I mean, I've got him. I haven't built anything for him.
Oh,
yet.
Okay, cool. Well, at least you've got him, so we can like build something and brew against it. Nice.
Yeah, I said I wanted to build purple next, so maybe I'll just do that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that's sitting across from me, and obviously I'm playing a Menasor, quite reliant on combining, and I was pretty fearful of him being able to strip my hand.
That's a nice hand you have there. It'd be a shame if it went in the scrap.
Yeah, I was prepared for there to be a second and third game.
Sure.
So I was already thinking about my sideboard and bringing in the battlefield reports and the extra security consoles so that I could draw on defense, so he couldn't see what I was drawing. And then I'd draw 3 cards, and I've got a high chance of drawing an Enigma back if it was that he was forcing me to sack them. So I was, at least going into game 2 and game 3, I was fairly confident. Just so happens that I lucked into being able to still play an Enigma in game 1. I applied enough consistent pierce damage onto Shockwave 1 to be able to finish him off before I combined. And then between the aforementioned tough numbers and constant pierce damage, so surprise attacks, heavy-handed, thermal weaponries, then I was able to put out decent numbers on Major Shockwave. So two or three, I think it was three swings of that, and I was able to take him out too. So once I was combined, I felt pretty okay. It was just making sure that I got there.
Yeah, definitely.
So just to make sure that wasn't just a fluke, in match 2 I sideboarded in those cards I just mentioned. So I bolstered up the 3 things I was afraid of losing or not having access to. So I wanted the 3rd Enigma.
Yep.
I wanted the 3rd Security Console, and I wanted 3 Battlefield Reports.
Yeah, nice.
So they had to come in, and it just meant that I was reliably drawing into the Enigma on my turn, and not having to be worried about it being espionaged, being cycled out of my hand because of scrap abilities or anything like that. So that felt good doing that move.
Yeah.
It was a fear against Sentinels in Wave 2. It's much the same with Aerobots and Superion.
Yeah, Shockwave's a problem with all the discard.
And obviously Shockwave 1 was always a problem with, you knew you were going to get system rebooted at some point.
Yeah.
Which was a matter of when. And the cool thing about the Stunticons is that you've got Motormaster, so unfortunately system reboots get shut down pretty hard. And not a lot happens to when that's played.
Yeah.
Lose the cards, but I
lose
don't take the damage.
Yeah, sure.
So it's not all that bad. I just redraw 4 cards, and that's fine.
Yeah.
So, and game 2 was similar to game 1. I was able to take out Shockwave 1. I just had bolstered my game plan from the sideboard.
Not with bolster though.
Not with bolster. Sorry, yeah.
Don't confuse people.
No. I'd strengthened
Yes.
my game plan.
Yes.
Through the sideboard going into match 2. So yeah, there was not a need for a game 3 there. So that was round 2. Round 3, I got to play the chap from Plymouth, Blaze. So he was bringing in Hot Wheels.
Yep.
I'd played a lot of Hot Wheels previously,
as I think we all have.
I've had a number of it played against me, so I'm largely familiar.
Yep.
I also know that I struggle against it. They were closer than I remembered them ever being, so that was, I guess, a plus. But ultimately, they were both losses. Fatigue from the weekend and the day. At this point, I'd completely forgotten Off-Road's ability to ping damage against cars, and I mean, maybe it would have made a difference. I really don't know overall.
Seems like that would be quite relevant.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how often you attack in car mode, but I rarely did. So I didn't.
True. That is true.
I wasn't actually. It wasn't a thought because that's not what I normally do. But I'd completely forgotten that this chap was new, and he was actually attacking in car mode or alt mode a few times, and obviously I could have got the damage off on that. So yeah, that's just me just not remembering some abilities, ones that just don't get used that often.
Yep. It happens.
And yeah,
there's a lot of cards,
exactly.
and unfortunately we all play a lot of decks to try and
Yep.
have fun and learn against other decks. So yeah, there's a lot to remember.
Yeah. And I don't even, like I say, I don't even know if that was going to be the game breaker, like in that happening. But again, same mentality is like try and kill a character before you combine and go. And yeah, much the same. He was able to put down force fields that I wasn't able to remove because my main removal in there for armors is vaporize. There is only 2 in there.
Yeah.
I probably should stretch to a third or an alternative.
Yeah, I think you need
armor
to now.
removal. Yeah, no, absolutely. You know what? You are right. I just felt like the deck was already quite tight, and it was hard to put them in.
I know Mike already.
That's cool.
He was already running like a full play sets of removal, but I think you definitely have to now.
Yeah. And so yeah, there was a force field or 2 that I just couldn't deal with, which saved bots at the right time. So yeah, I lost the first game pretty handily. The chat's pretty new, so some of the plays were a bit slower. Didn't want to like rush the guy. Just kind of casually let it roll into round 2. I'm not in a state where I'm looking to win an event right here, so I'm just like, just let the games happen. Just let them do their thing. So I roll into game 2, and same sort of affair, really. I don't recall subbing in anything particular. I think maybe I bring in an extra swagger, but ultimately there wasn't a lot I wanted to sideboard in. Then game came round. Time was called.
Yeah.
So this is during match 2.
Oh yeah, during match 2.
And the game's gone on so long. I thought, this must be match 3. I'm like, I must have had one apiece. And no, we hadn't. We hadn't. I was like, that's fine. Take it. You can have that win.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, that was another strike down for me.
Yeah.
And then round 4 was the game versus Kevin. So yeah, I got to. I'm sitting at a low table here, so I'm happy to just kind of
have fun,
throw caution to the wind, and have some
you
fun. Yeah,
cog out, right?
That's when I brought the cog out.
Yeah.
Yep.
You said you were going to do it. You said before when we were driving there, you were like, right, if things go bad, I'm bringing out cog, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
There's some fun stuff about cog and a combiner.
Yeah.
You've got 5 characters, and they all do something slightly different. So there's potential for choose the matchup, choose the cards. You drop the characters based on the matchup.
Yeah.
So there's potential for that, which is kind of fun.
That's kind of what I like about the run amok team, because they got 5-star space. So you've got all those 5 stars from like Menasor and Flame War to like mess around with, like depending on the meta, and like obviously you can chuck one of them in your sideboard as well. So yeah.
Alternatively, I suppose I could have run Ramjet and had a big strength 7.
Ramjet, good old Ramjet.
Going for it, but no, he didn't really do anything. Just strength 7. So in hindsight, maybe that should have been a thing. I don't know. So, that's for another day.
There's one thing we've learned from General Prime: 7 is nothing to scoff at.
Strength 7.
Well, he's 6-bold 1, right? So 7, basically.
6-bold 1, right? Okay, fine. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I won one, and I won inside at least once or twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a great day for me.
No.
Poor Menasor. He did
Poor
well.
Menasor.
He did well on Saturday.
Yeah, that's it. It can't be done twice.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
So how did you guys?
So
obviously you guys said, Matt, you said that you suffered from tournament fatigue a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I did as well. I need to go through my rounds as well too, right?
Do you guys? I mean, I'm used to playing like weekend events. I'm used to like just playing lots of games over a course of the weekend. I assume you guys haven't really.
I have to an extent, but in a different game. if that makes sense. Not in card. I haven't played a card game weekender in a long time, and card games are like a different thought process to fighting games.
Yeah, it can take a lot. It can be very mentally draining.
Plus, we drove like an hour and a half there.
Yeah.
We got
But
probably too early in hindsight, but whatever.
Now you know.
Yes.
And knowing is half the battle.
Exactly.
But very glad you guys traveled.
Yeah, no worries. Cheers for the invite, and likewise for coming down to Brighton.
Yeah.
The invite is out there to anyone and everyone else as well. Come join our events. They're real good fun. Good people.
Yeah, I mean,
at both cities. So please do come.
It was good meeting the Southampton guys because I played against like 3 new decks that I hadn't played against as well. I mean, there was decks that I played against, but new players, which was good.
Yeah, it's always good to play new people and to travel because you learn what's going on in the wider scene, you know.
Yeah.
Shall I quickly wrap up my day for Sunday then, and then we'll get into final thoughts.
If we'll have a quick.
Yeah, that's fine. Mine's pretty quick. So round 2, I played a Bugs Mirror, which is really easy to talk about. He saw more ISFs than I did. He saw 2 isofunctions in game 1, and then I won game 2, and then in game 3 he managed to one-shot Scrapnel with kickback on the first one. He took the gamble because it's like right on the limit of whether you can hit it or not. And he flipped perfectly, got rid of Scrapnel. So that was pretty much the turn. If you can do that, then that's a big swing. Yeah. So that was easy. That was Bugs Mirror. I don't feel so bad losing against the same deck because it's pretty much just 50-50, you know?
Yeah.
It's hard, yeah.
Yeah, but that's fine. So round 3, I played against another Dan. There was 2 Dans, nice and confusing. He was also running Hot Wheels. And that was close. It was, again, I feel like that matchup is kind of 50-50. If I see my ISFs, then I feel like I'm in a good position. And if they see their turbo boosters and their start your engines, then they're in a strong position, right? So
yeah, pretty much.
It was real close. I managed to squeak it out 2-1. I got some clutch exact damage swings. Like I managed to get Wheeljack perfect damage with kickback once. Yeah.
Fresh or
No, he wasn't.
Was he
fresh.
already wounded?
Yeah, because I swung at him first with Scrapnel and got like 3 or 4 damage on him.
Cool.
And then went in with him with kickback, and got rid of him. So that was nice. But it was just a usual Cars versus Bugs match. There was nothing really exceptional. I guess the only thing to mention was I tried out Heat of Battle because I put that in the sideboard. And I was like, I don't know if it works against Cars because they do run blues. There's not many, but there's a couple of blues in there.
Yeah, you're playing a bit of a riskier game.
And I saw
you're basically just playing a supercharge, right?
Yeah, I saw that in action because I played a heated battle. I can't remember who I was attacking with or into, but I played a heated battle and I swung in, and it was an exact damage hit. And my heated battle, I swung just 3 oranges, and he got 2 blues out of it. His tough 3.
Wow.
So I only got like 1 extra damage out of it. So it wasn't worth it. So I don't think it's worth it against Cars, and I don't think it's worth it against the next matchup which I played, which was against Steve playing the Prime BL RC and Lionizer deck. Again, they've got some blues. I thought I'd try it. And again, same thing happened. Came in, I flipped.
Was
3.
he running blues?
Yeah, because he had.
Was it because of matrices?
He had matrix and rollouts. Yeah.
I see. Fine. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Carry on.
So I flipped 3 just normal oranges, and he flipped 2 of his blues. So it was just an extra +1 for me. So it just wasn't worth playing, really. Should have just been a supercharge.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like.
Yep.
Should have just been a supercharge.
Yeah. So in that round, my final round was against Steve playing that Prime deck. It's the first time for me playing against Lionizer because I didn't get to play against it with Nick on Saturday.
Sure.
He chose to go first. No, he chose for me to go first. Sorry, in both games.
Okay.
He won the dice roll and then was like, "I want to go second," and I was like, "Okay,
risky.
I will send in Scrapnel."
Yeah. And who do you go for? Do you go for Lionizer, or do you try and risk
No,
it?
I went at
kill
Prime.
RC?
I went at Prime.
No, you just went straight at
no,
Prime.
I went at RC the first game.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, first game I went at RC, and I think I flipped 9 attack, so I got 5 damage on her, or something like that. I can't remember. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, there was like 5 or 6 damage on her because he flipped a couple of blues or 1 blue, and yeah, it was close, but I think him going second was kind of the swing. If he'd gone first, I think he would have maybe got.
Could have been very different.
Yeah. Because there was a turn where he Piece of Tyranny, Lionizer, and then attacked with RC, killed someone, and I had the ramming speed, but then he had the Quartermaster, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
But because he'd gone second, I'd already had enough damage on him that it didn't matter. Whereas if he had gone first and that had still happened, he would have been in a better shape.
Yeah.
But then afterwards we spoke about it, and he said that he'd only been testing that deck against blues, so that's why he was going second. Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Just a bit of inexperience.
Yeah.
With matchup there,
And because he faced against both of the Bugs players, me and Dan, and he was like, today was a very eye-opening experience.
Yep.
A, I need to test against orange more often, and B, I don't need to go second every time.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
And
yeah. He was like, or he wasn't like mad about it or anything, so it was good.
no.
Yeah.
Good.
And we spoke.
Yeah, he'll learn
good
from
guy.
that. I'm sure.
Yeah, and we spoke a bit about maybe bringing Grimlock in from the sideboard as well. So
Yeah, I think he'd mentioned. I think I'd heard murmurs of him kind of regretting that he didn't do that from the beginning.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
For like the combiners or the small bots.
But I do like
Matchups.
that Prime deck. I think I prefer Prime over Grimlock as the main character.
In the main.
Yeah,
Interesting.
because Prime's ability to flip and bring back the Quartermasters on demand.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, I think
it keeps it
that's
consistent.
really good.
Keeps it consistent. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
was
left
the
you
weekend.
3
that
and
was it.
1.
And
Yeah.
so you went 3-1, put you
Yep.
second on the
Yeah,
event.
second. We had Bugs first and second. My only loss was to the other Bugs player.
Yeah.
Good.
Dan
So
Galis,
bugs are still good.
Yeah, Bugs are still Bugs. They swing big. There's 4 of them.
Yeah.
pretty solid. So yeah, Dan Galis took down the event and
Yep.
took home the Ultra Magnus.
He
and
did.
a playset of promos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
Little bit jealous. I do like that figure.
Yeah, it's
It
a
was
cool
nice
figure,
but
but I'm just not a Magnus. Like, I'm not really an Autobot guy in general. But yeah,
Sure.
I was kind of glad that I came second. Like I said to you guys.
Yeah.
Like
You got the best of
I
both
wanted,
worlds.
yeah,
sort of thing.
I had fun. I got the foil promos, the card, like my shiny flame wall,
Yeah.
which is what I wanted. But I didn't come into like a new play group and be like, haha, I'm taking your nice shiny prize, you know?
Sure.
Like one
yeah.
of the local guys who comes all the time, like got to leave with a nice prize, which is cool.
Yeah.
he was very happy.
No, that's
with
really
the
cool.
day. So
Yeah.
It was a lovely day, lovely weekend. I am cream crackered.
Yeah,
after
me
that.
too.
So,
It is 10 to
I think-
midnight currently.
yeah.
Yes. I think we've got time to just have like one topic before
Yep.
we wrap up.
Because I have work. I've got to be up for work in 5 hours.
Yeah. I've got to be making a move soon. But
I-
so
If we're having one more topic, I think
Yep.
from what we've seen over the weekend and what we've played with,
Yep.
card spotlight on Bolster.
Sure.
yeah, I mean
Um,
we've mentioned it a couple of times during the course of this evening.
Hmm.
The card
Um,
is good. Don't sleep on it.
No, yeah.
Yeah, Bolster was a real surprise, and it was a bit of an eye opener. I'd got a chance to play it from playing Jimmy's double.
Yeah, I was going to
Skywalk
say,
deck
if we're going to
from
talk about it, we have to
TCG
give shout
deck
outs to
text.
Jimmy. Yeah.
Yeah, like if it wasn't for him putting that up, I probably wouldn't have seen it in play.
Yeah.
And I've mentioned to I think I've mentioned it here last time and to you guys in person that just when cards get revealed and spoiled, that just I read them, but I don't really analyze them properly. I just like look, I either immediately see that they're going to go in something that I'm going to play or not,
Hmm.
and this was definitely a not. And
Yeah, I'm the same. I looked at it and I was like, why would I want that as in an orange?
Yeah,
deck? Like,
it just didn't really click
I- like-
immediately.
I kind of understood why it was orange because that's kind of how they balance things out, right? They like, oh, it's got a good defensive effect, but we make it an orange pip. That's how we balance it out. So I was just like, it's just one of those cards. It's just like whatever.
Yeah. When are we going to have space for this?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a real tough one because like secret actions are defensive actions. They don't put out damage. They don't. They don't really, on the face of it, progress your game state.
Yeah.
And then this is no different. The issue there with Bolster is that it has like a 2 or 3 card setup in order to really get it off. But I think if it lands, I think it can win you a game.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a game swinging like effect.
Yeah, like you play your bolster, they attack you, you reveal your bolster, you drop in a scrap of gauntlets or a force field.
Yeah, take out their weapon.
Drop their weapon,
eliminate their attack
that was about to hurt you, or you eliminate their big bold,
massive swing,
or whatever. And great, I'm now just taking 4 damage. Like I know that there are so many times in cars where I've been like certainly during wave 2, like my force field would just get bashing shielded away.
Exactly.
And it's like, well, why did I even play that upgrade?
Is that you don't expose your defensive item.
Yeah. So now I can play my grenade launcher in the return turn rather than having to.
Well, even on the
play
turn
another,
that you play
another
your secret action, right? So on the turn, you take your turn, you draw your card, you do your flip or whatever, you play your upgrade for the turn, probably an aggressive like grenade launcher or something. You play your bolster, you swing.
Yeah.
Then they come in, activate your bolster, you put your force field on. Then on your next turn, you get to play another grenade launcher instead of having to play a force field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being able to like, if they fall into that trap of grenade launcher, supercharge, run into your big guy, and you go, cool. Well, here's a force field at instant speed.
Yeah.
The 2 cards you've just played do nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it doesn't make it into sideboards pretty soon, I'll be very surprised.
Yeah.
And I'd be pretty odds on to say that it's going to enter a lot of main decks, certainly orange-based ones.
It was doing work for me today.
There's definitely an argument to be had about that, like, or a debate even to be had about whether it should be a main deck card. It's definitely a sideboard card, no doubt.
It's a good card. I think Force Field is probably the best because it can probably waste 2 cards.
Yeah, so they can potentially supercharge, power punch, and you're like, cool, great. I'll just take 4 damage. Thanks.
If you're worried about big beat sticks, or if you're worried about multiple armors, the instant speed scrapper gauntlets or bashing shields are also fine.
Yeah.
Because that is the definition of tempo, right? You are gaining tempo.
Yeah. Like about, sorry, but you mentioned bashing shield. I got to give a shout out to Nano Machines. He put up a video recently about the Insecticon deck, and he was talking about bolster for that deck with bashing shield, because you get to do on their turn, you're getting rid of their armor, which means that on your turn you can now play your grenade launcher and your supercharge instead of a bashing shield.
Yep.
So it's got a lot of application.
It obviously we haven't had the full chance to test any of this, so take it all
this
with
is all
a pinch of salt.
It's all theoretical.
But on paper, this sounds real strong.
And we've seen it happen.
I've seen it in a couple of
games,
instances. Yeah, like Kevin's got it in his Megatron deck. I played against his Hot Wheels, and it has that in there. And yeah, exactly that. You drop that, or even spicy defense point system. Was it defense point? Emergency defense field.
The emergency defense shield, yeah, sure.
Emergency defense field. EDF.
Yeah.
The energy company.
Yeah, the energy company, yeah.
That's more kind of RNG based, but that's another card that can basically turn off damage for a turn.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
can even play it in your blue decks and just drop a normal armor on there.
Just as
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, yeah, it's fine.
In blue decks, I think the scrap gauntlets is better because
Yeah.
Yes.
removing their
To get rid of their
weapon.
weapon, yeah.
You're already
be the better play,
defending
yeah.
for big,
Yeah.
so you remove their high
But
attack
you can also
power.
there's some mind games involved there though, because you can also bait them in to because they can be like, oh, that guy's got no armor on him. Like,
Yeah.
I'm safe to use my 2 cards and go in to try and kill this guy. And then they do, and then you're just like, oh, I'll just drop this extra padding and this other extra padding and this other extra padding. Is that cool?
And we've just spent almost 2 hours saying how prevalent Aimless and Lionizer are,
Yeah.
and you can now scrapper gauntlets them,
Yeah.
and they don't get to trigger. So, like, I don't know, like this just all feels like odds on for
It feels good.
defending against these things.
Yeah.
It feels good. Yeah, it's. I think pretty much everyone overlooked it. But once you realise the implications that the card has and the interactions you can do, you realise that hey, in a game where we can't interact on opponent's turn, interacting on your opponent's turn is really strong.
Yeah.
I do think it is out of all the secret actions that we've got so far, I think it is probably the most relevant for doing stuff on your opponent's turn. Infiltrate is fine, but that is sideboard fodder for pretty much every deck, right?
It's definitely changed my opinion of the secret action. The cards that I favour of the secret actions,
and just the mechanic in general.
It's shot right up for me.
Yeah, because I mean, we spoke about it a little bit, but it just completely changes the way you look at your turn and your opponent's turn and how to approach the game. Because we've been playing the game. Well, some people who've been playing since launch have been playing for almost a year, right?
Yep.
So it's well established, like kind of the rhythm, like of a turn, right? You draw, you flip, you play your thing, you swing. Yeah. So I think that's why a lot of people, including myself, like have overlooked it, right? Because that these cards completely break that sequence and introduces a whole new factor where like, oh, I can do this on my turn, but then that allows me to do this on their turn, which is going to break the rhythm of their turn. So there's like you said, it introduces tempo as an archetype.
Yeah, not just the difference between the tempo that we've had so far, obviously being playing multiple cards and multiple actions. That's obviously increasing our tempo. However, now you can play the tempo swing.
Yeah.
So you're not only progressing your tempo, you're putting theirs back, and you're creating a bigger distance.
Yeah.
And that is very, very relevant.
And because they're secret, it feels like even more of a swing because they have to guess what you've just played face down.
Yep. Of course, as we said,
and you don't have to reveal it because they could swing in and it could be something you could bait. Like that's what I mean. You can bait them in. You could play like a completely dead card.
Yep.
Face down. Well, not like dead, but you know what I mean. You could play an infiltrate face down when they're playing blue, and they'd be like, "Oh, what has he just put down? Has he put down a bolster? Is he going to try and get rid of my thing, or has he put down just a battlefield report to try and draw some cards and stack the deck?" Like,
it is going to be a thing you have to think about.
Yeah. It's because I completely forgot about it when I played against you, and even though you only took out an erratic lightning, it was still enough.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, I'm swinging for 8 base, and you're like, no, you're not.
Have this.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good card. I think we'll see a lot more of it going forward.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that we don't end up with egg on our face in 6 months' time.
Yeah. Well, if we do, we do. Whatever.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, like it is all still quite early days, and something could counter the counter. But I think it's worth considering, certainly at this stage of the early siege meta.
I don't see how being able to play cards at instant speed in this game is ever going to be bad. Like, do you go, oh, I'm building a deck. Can I play bolster? Yes, I can. Why wouldn't I? Yeah, it's a good card.
Yeah.
All right, I
Buy-
think
buy your
that about
playsets.
wraps us. Yeah, buy playsets now. I think that about.
It's only an uncommon, right? It should be easy to get hold of. It should be good.
Yeah, it's uncommon. Yeah, I think that wraps us up for this podcast.
Yeah, it's been a long one. Apologies, and thank you for sticking with us.
It's been a long one. Yeah, I hope you do stick to the end because obviously that last topic is quite relevant for some people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, and yeah, hopefully we'll put something out within the next few weeks.
Yeah.
Myself in event on the 27th.
Yeah.
So this is another opportunity for you to come down, meet us, win some gold foil character promos.
Yep.
And booster prizes as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, come down, make the trip. It's good fun.
Nice.
The bigger the turnout, the more rounds we can have.
Yeah, exactly,
and I think we all just want to play flipping robots. So
Yes.
yeah.
Let's
do it.
Southampton will have an event to be announced soon.
Cool.
Depending on dates.
Cool.
Wicked.
Excellent. But yes, as said, thank you very much for joining us.
Yes,
on
thank
this
you very much.
ramble of a tournament report cast, and yeah, hope to see you next time. Until then, it's a bye from me.
And a bye from me.
And a bye from me. Take it easy, guys.